there is a realization the individual can process and understand what is being presented, but there's a whole disconnect in this human element to it because it's the application. So you're discovering a lot of things here in processing and brain processing.
Mm-hmm.
You could do this, what it's told to, but still we want the individual to process this relationship that's happening around them, this connection that is, and I kind of wanted to kind of share that or explain that in the previous question. There's people that don't understand what an autistic individual is. You know, there's just, it's a lost type of topic.
Yeah.
And you know, this is part of sharing with individuals, families that may have an autistic child, and they're just like, you know, don't realize it.
Right.
And so let's kind of go there real quick, and then I want to go into how the app, the technology came upon, and how you guys met, you and Glenn. But for families that have a child, you know, what are some things that you can share with them if they are kind of confused, maybe that they think their child may be on the spectrum? What things would you be able to share with them?
Yeah, I mean, so I say this a lot to parents, and this might sound like a little out there or woo-woo, but there are a lot of parents who their intuition kicked in a lot earlier, and they were thinking that was happening, and then a year later there is a diagnosis, and they're like, I knew it, and I didn't push for it or whatever. So if you're feeling that, feel it. You're probably pretty accurate. But, you know, what happens? You go, and then they're like, no, actually, this isn't being on the spectrum at all. This is ADHD. You're just going to find out more information. I would suggest really, you know, speaking with their teachers, seeing what the teacher's concerns are, and looking how your child interacts with both people and objects. Like, do they use objects for the purpose that they are supposed to have? For example, I've seen kids before, like, line up crayons, but actually we color with crayons. So unless there's like maybe an elaborate scheme of, I don't know, I'm making a colored fence or whatever, but like looking at like what is happening for what they're using that for. And then same with individuals, like, do they know to go to people to get what they want and need? Can they tell you they want and need? It's like a really basic skill. And a lot of individuals on the spectrum miss that one. And then they can like read a book, but then they're frustrated in their body and can't communicate what they need. So that's also a tricky part of being on the spectrum, and sometimes diagnosing or even knowing that something's needed. There's called Splinter skills. So I may not have eye contact, which develops very young, but I know all my numbers and my ABCs, and I'm only a year and a half. So you're kind of like, well, wait, but you know all that, you're probably good. But really looking at like, are they hitting developmental, social, and language milestones, I think are important.
That, you know, immediately I think about, you know, there are children that are creative and, you know, may use crayons to build a house, but that's different than like what you said at the very beginning about you could program them to identify a color, but there's no connective element to it. That, I want that blue balloon. Right. I gotcha.
I also, when I think about it now and I look back, a lot of the people I work with when they were young did a lot of that, like lining up or looking for ways to control something they couldn't control. So like, I'm going to line up all of my cars and not let you touch them until I'm completely done. Sure, there are some other kids that may just want to do that, but when you see it like repetitively and it's every time and it results in like a big temper tantrum, there might be something going on where they're not feeling regulated and they need to control something, which is really natural. We would all do that, but just looking at those patterns.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating.